What is up, my nerds? It is Shane from the Nerdy Mind here, back again with another episode of the podcast, and it is just me and you, personally, intimately together. Does that cringe? A little bit? A little bit. But hey, before we start, let's ask, how are you? How are you all doing? How are you all feeling today? Have you asked yourself, I feel great. I feel wonderful. I'm having a great day. I hope you're having a great day. If you're listening to this right now, you're probably early in the morning, driving to work, you're a little sleepy. Wake up and enjoy listening to me rant on about stuff, nerdy stuff, It's going to be a little quick one. I have finally watched Avatar The Last Airbender, but I'm only 4 episodes in. I'll just say that now. I'm only 4 episodes in, and it's becoming really, really hard for me to watch it. I'm not going to lie. I've already kind of made a couple videos of me overall reviewing the episodes, kind of going through step by step of what I've seen in the episode. If you have not seen it, if you have not seen those videos, go check them out on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, The Nerdy Mind, also where you can find the video versions of this podcast. And kind of give my own feedback on what I think of the show, but I'm going to talk about it here if you have not watched them. Let's just start off with the good things. Thank you, Netflix, for trying. Thank you, Netflix, for making the bending better than what was in the overall OG movie. Thank you, Netflix, for staying true to the names of the characters. Let's see, what else can we be thankful for? It's not Thanksgiving, but we're going to be thankful for some things. I'm trying to be more positive here. I'm trying to bring more positivity into the world. It is 2024, people. There's a lot of crazy shit going on, so I'm trying to bring some light, okay? Let's see. Thank you, Netflix, for making Appa and Momo good looking, actually making them bearable to look at. Damn, this is hard. I'm trying to be very thankful for certain things. Thank you, Netflix, for giving me content to talk about. How about that? That's pretty decent, right? To be honest, without having certain... if it was all nice and all great and all cool things to talk about, sometimes it might get a little stale. I mean, I'm not just saying that I don't like talking about the cool things. Talking about cool games, talking about cool animes, talking about, overall cool things that are out there, but sometimes you need the shit stuff. You need the bad stuff to kind of fuel you, to kind of give the good things some substance. So overall, thanks Netflix for at least trying to make this show, and trying to stay true to our childhood of growing up and watching the Avatar The Last Airbender on Nickelodeon. But I'm gonna be honest, I think Netflix kind of missed the mark a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. They definitely, I would say, got the bending right. It's kind of hard. Airbending is amazing. A little bit of spoilers, but the Airbenders in the first episode, they were definitely rocking it. They were definitely doing their thing when they were invaded by the Fire Nation. Now, you can't say spoilers because if you haven't watched the cartoon, that is your fault. The cartoon has been out for a long-ass time, and you can't call yourself an Avatar The Last Airbender fan if you have not watched the cartoon, okay? Just saying. But yeah, them showing the overall fight of the invasion on the Southern Air Temple was amazing. Definitely hit the heartstrings a little bit when one of my favorite characters gets killed. Well, I wouldn't say favorite, but a influential character to the main character, Aang, gets killed. Kind of tugged at my heartstrings. Yeah, airbending was cool. Firebending is amazing. It kind of makes me want to be a firebender even more. Not a bad one, but a good one. You know what I'm saying? Because if you watch, Legend of Korra, there are some good firebenders now. It's not all hate. But I would love to be a firebender, especially, just seeing how they're doing it. Like shooting the fire is amazing. You don't need those fire pots in this version. They can create fire at will. Firebending was awesome. Zuko is believable. Uncle Iroh being his Uncle Iroh self. Now, would I say Uncle Iroh is like Uncle Iroh in the cartoon? No, but he had a lot of shoes to fill. You know what I'm saying? Not making a joke, like a big joke. I'm just saying he was such an influential character in the cartoon that it's kind of hard to meet that expectation. But he's overall a great actor. He's doing very well. Zuko's character is believable. I love the scar on Zuko's face. It's not like crazy to where you only focus on the scar. Because especially if like his face was half gone, you'd be like, oh my god, like I can't not look at it. But it's not bad. It kind of looks like a bruise more than anything, or like a second-degree burn. But it's overall pretty good. He does very well. Very believable for a character that has daddy issues. Can't wait to see them move on and later in the series if they make it that far. I think they have already. I think they already have like landed season 2 and season 3 already. So that's cool. I guess we can kind of finish it and see how they develop. But I'm really interested to see Azula. We get to see Azula, his sister, in the show a little bit, but I'm really excited to see her later in the series when she like really gets active. So, what else? What do we got? Katara and Sokka. Katara and Sokka are pretty good. Only gripe is waterbending is iffy still. It's they have good parts and bad parts. A lot of people say the CGI kind of sucks. But to be honest, it's not that bad. I mean, it's pretty good, but not that bad. I don't see how you can make water more. I don't know. I can't say. I was gonna say I don't know how you can make water more like realistic. But maybe you can. I'm not a overall CGI expert at anything, so I'm not gonna really hate too much. Earthbending is also kind of iffy. But there were some cool scenes when, like if you have like basic firebenders, if you have basic earthbenders, it's kind of but if you have like a really cool earthbender like Boomy, it kind of gets pretty sweet because, as Boomy's character in the cartoon, he's very like creative on how he bends. A lot of great benders have like really creative ways of doing moves and doing overall, it's like choreography on how they overall bend. So getting to see Boomy in the overall episodes or in this series in live action and seeing him kind of getting a little weird and creative on how he earthbends kind of stepped it up a little bit in my mind for earthbending, at least in this series. And again, it doesn't look bad. Sokka. So Sokka is one of my favorite characters, and I'll tell you this: I have nothing against the actor that is, playing Sokka, but the jokes and everything don't really land as well as what they did in the cartoon. Now, it could be as like Tyler and I discussed in the last episode. It could just because. Like feel this way because of like nostalgia, maybe. We grew up with the cartoon, and I'm kind of holding on to those jokes that the overall creators of Avatar The Last Airbender made. And again, this show has a lot of shoes to fill. It really does. It's such an iconic show, and such a great idea of a show that this is like putting on a mask. And I say this a lot, and that's how I feel. It's like wearing a Halloween mask of Avatar The Last Airbender. And then they take it off and you're kind of impersonating it. You're impersonating something, and they try to be funny and they try to be charismatic, and they try to be funny, and they try to make jokes land like they did in the cartoon, but they might miss the mark for me only because I grew up watching the cartoon and knowing how like the dynamic is. Like the Sokka and Katara thing, in the beginning, again, spoilers, but not really, because they kind of follow along with the overall cartoon story. Like the bantering and the overall like dynamic between the brother and sister stuff is kind of forced in my view. Like they tried, like it's almost like they had the episode of, let's just say, let me take a step back. Let's just start with like them in the Southern Water Tribe, and Sokka is very stressed out because, he has to protect the village. His dad gave him this huge responsibility on taking care of everyone and making sure everyone's safe. And he's on edge, because he's young. And then you have Katara, who's kind of, free and, kind of like goes with the flow. And she feels, she feels trapped in herself because she's a waterbender, but she can't do it. She's just a waterbender in secret. And she's not really getting any better at it because she has no master and there's no one really to teach her, and she can't, she doesn't know the overall basics. And then like when you come together and you watch them interact, and then they have like arguments and like certain things to say to each other, it doesn't feel real to me. Like whereas the cartoon, like they were able to like really make that dynamic like work. And hats off to the voice actors that in the cartoon that really made it work, because it just, again, it feels forced and doesn't feel authentic. So when like jokes are told or things happen, you kind of laugh a little bit, but again, I'm fully not engaged. Now it could be that I'm looking for some things that are bad, like I'm just looking to nitpick at it, and I truly am not. I'm really watching the show for what it is. I'm just watching it and I'm trying to engage with it, and watching it and I'm trying to engage with it, but I don't know. It's just something about it, like it doesn't make me feel like it doesn't bring anything to me right now. Now, don't get me wrong, when the fight scenes happen, it gets really good. Like, it gets really good. Like, I can tell you the choreography on a lot of the fight scenes is awesome. If they could fight 24/7, I probably would love this show. But then again, I say that, but then if they're fighting all the time, then I'd probably be like, there's no talking, there's no dialogue. So I can't have that and, say that there's, no substance. But again, that's just me nitpicking. Now, where I become a little more angry with Netflix is, I said this in one of my videos, is I understand Netflix has to make it Netflix, as what Tyler said in the last episode, they gotta make it Netflix, but why? Why do you have to make it Netflix? Like, why do you have to put your own twist on it? You ruin a lot of good things that we love as nerds. We want to love The Witcher, and we did love The Witcher, but then when you want to take your own story and then the actor who made it fun for us quits, but hey, we're not going to talk about The Witcher, but we're going to talk about the, Avatar Last. I'm just making a point, Then they take stories that are their own thing, like Stranger Things, right? But they didn't create Stranger Things, but, we didn't know anything about Stranger Things. And they kind of make the show, and then you're like, I really love this show. But it's their own thing, But they can't take something that was great, like Avatar The Last Airbender cartoon on Nickelodeon, just emulate it, put it on a poster board, say, hey, you're going to do this. And then, boom, they just slap it on the wall, and then it's all jumbled up into pieces and say, no, that's what we're going to do. That's what I get pissed off about. Now, context on what I'm saying, you're probably confused what the fuck I'm talking about. And what I'm saying is they take, in episode 3 and 4, I would say even episode 1 and 2, there were some facts about the show that were kind of switched around. And I could let it go because they were really minute changes. I really couldn't give a shit. But when it gets to episode 3 and 4, there were some big things that they changed that really, really made it hard for me to love it. And I want to love it. Trust me, I want to love this show because of these characters and the overall story that is told. I want to love it. But how they changed the story, do I want to say it? Look, if you watched Avatar The Last Airbender cartoon and you have not watched this show yet on Netflix, I can honestly say don't. I want to say don't, because I was anticipating this show so bad, and I think I built it up in my brain so, like, I put it on a pedestal like so high that, like, watching it makes me angry now. And I don't, if you have not watched it yet, I want to save you the trouble and don't watch it. Unless you just want to sit on the couch and just, gripe about, no, that didn't happen there. This is where it happens. Why did they move it to that character? Why are they switching these things? Blah, blah, blah. And then you're not going to enjoy it. And you overall, I guess the only thing that you could say, it makes you appreciate the cartoon more. But yeah, so I'm going to just say what happened. And if you do not want to hear it, then I'll put overall I don't know how to do it for the audio listeners. Yeah. Well, I'll say this. Maybe I won't spoil it. God, I'm kind of conflicted here. I want to say it, but then I don't want to ruin it for you if you fucking watch it. Okay, sorry, guys. I'm going to spoil it. I have to do it. So, in book 1, Aang, Sokka, and Katara, Appa, and Momo end up going to the Northern Air Temple. If we all remember, I think it's episode 19. I'm going to fact check myself. So I am wrong. The Northern Air Temple episode is actually 17th episode of book 1. So yeah. Okay. So if you do not remember that episode, Aang is still trying to find himself. He's trying to find overall, more facts about himself as the Avatar, but also he wants to overall see if there's possibility of people still living at the Northern Air Temple because of, like, how high up the peak. It's like on top of a mountain, and there's no way you'd be able to get there unless you were able to fly. And goes and thinks that people he thinks that the airbenders are still alive because he sees people flying around, and then come to find out, he's like, no, they're not airbenders, they're just gliding. And that's when we meet Teo, who's a paraplegic who can overall glide in the air. And then you meet Sai, who's an engineer, and he makes weapons for the Fire Nation. Okay? Synopsis. Well, again, I just said that's in episode 17 of book 1. I'm only on episode 3 of book 1 of the Netflix series. And tell me why Teo and Sai are in that fucking episode. I would have loved to see the Northern Air Temple, and now I don't even know if they're going to go there. Because what's the point of them going there? Unless, for some reason, because in the Netflix series, you see it's episode 3 and it says Omashu. So I was really excited because they're going to Omashu. It's a very important part. You get to see King Bumi. We get to see the relationship between Aang and Bumi, and you get to see some flashbacks of Aang when he was visiting Omashu. And overall, you get to see. I thought I was going to see Flopsy in a I did see Flopsy in a statue form, but I didn't actually see Flopsy. So I was kind of bummed out. Spoiler. And there's continued to be spoilers. But, Yeah, so they overall are flying, and then Aang sees a glider, and he said, "Hey, there's an airbender." When I saw that, I had to pause because I said, I kind of knew who it was. And I was like, they're not fucking doing this, are they? That's like, they're not going to ruin it. They're not going to do that. And I was right. I knew it. And I knew Netflix was going to do something. And they put Teo in this episode where he's at a Mashu. And they show Sai, and he's working on his overall blimp for the war effort for the Fire Nation. And it really made me angry because I'm like, are you trying to ruin it? Because the whole point of episode 17 of the Avatar The Last Airbender cartoon, and the way I took it, was Aang had to he was kind of smug. You know, he thought since he was an airbender, he could fly. He thought that, you know, he was above everyone else. This is kind of the point where he kind of was like still being a child, and then he had to show some grace when it came to especially Teo, who was paraplegic, and he can't, you know, he has no legs, and he thinks flight of, you know, flying around is something magical to him. And then Aang really feels bad, and it's good because, you know, then he kind of stops being a jerk after this time. And then you get to see Sai and him creating these weapons for the Fire Nation. And it's a big important part when you see the war balloon, because that comes later in the series. And then this is when Sokka starts developing his overall intellect, or not like thinking like he doesn't have to be just like some brute warrior. He can actually be smart and plan and be an engineer, or he can be a master navigator. He really comes into his own. And getting to see the Northern Air Temple, and, you know, it was really cool. I was really excited to see like the aspect of people enjoying the Northern Air Temple, because in the show we only get this, in like a Netflix show, we only get to see a little bit of the Southern Air Temple. So I was really excited to kind of like really jump in to see big parts of the Northern Air Temple, of excited to see the Northern Air Temple with people actually living there, you know. And then overall seeing the fight, because then we get to see the tanks, you know, crawling up the mountain, and then Sokka creating, you know, stink bombs and all kinds of shit. You know, it'd be really cool to actually see that battle in live action. But it's possible that we still might get to see it. I'm not sure. But with Teo and Sai being in Omashu, I'm like, so are they gonna just you know, leave Omashu and then discover the Northern Air Temple, and then we'll see them again later in the series? I don't know. I don't think so, because I think how many episodes are in? There's 20 episodes in the cartoon for book 1. 20. And there's only 8 for Netflix. Now, I get it. Without commercials and, you know, without commercials and everything, the episodes are like, 45 minutes? And the Netflix series episodes are an hour. So you can fit, you know, maybe 2, you know, if you really kind of scrunch it. If you really scrunch the cartoon episodes together. And that's where it kind of pissed me off, because there's another point. So in episode 3, they were telling 3, yes, I said 3 different stories at the same fucking time, and I couldn't keep up. So they're overall showing a mysterious guy helping them get into Omashu, and I kind of knew who it was when I kind of saw the haircut and how he was acting. The overall show the episode of Jet and the freedom fighting crew. You get to see Sai and Teo, and then technically 4, I would say. Then you got Zuko and Uncle Iroh in Omashu, and Uncle Iroh gets captured. That's when Zuko goes to save him. And then you have Aang trying to see Bumi. So it's like, there's a lot in one episode, but it's not all linear. too. That's what really fucks me up, and that's really pisses me off, is that, I don't know. Again, Netflix is doing their Netflix thing, and they just want to tell it the way they want to tell it. And I don't know if it's just to save time, but why did you only have a budget for fucking 8 episodes? Why couldn't you make it? I got an idea. Great idea, you know? And this is just me being me. This is a me, normal citizen here, no money, you know, blah, blah, blah. You could have made it 10 episodes, right? And if you're going to fit 2 episodes into 1 episode of your Netflix series, then you could literally just done, okay, 1 and 2 episodes, like him waking up at the iceberg, them taking and go blah blah blah. You can make that 1 episode. Then them going to Lover's Labyrinth, essentially, and then finding Omashu, episode 2. Let's keep going. And then overall going to Omashu, seeing Boomy, great. And then, you know, they learn a lesson from Boomy. They leave, make camp, and that's when you meet Jet and the freedom fighting crew. I literally just made it better by following the linear path of the cartoon instead of just, adding fucking Teo and Sai in there with no context. Like, it doesn't make sense. And overall, I'm trying to love this show. I really am. I'm not trying to bash it. You had the building blocks, and you had the fucking writers on your team. You had them on your side to make the show, and I knew something was up when they left. I knew something was wrong when they were like, we're out. We're going to just off. I thought they were just like, you know what? We got a lot going on, because I think they were working on the Avatar, like the new cartoon that they're doing, like when Angatar and Zuko Sokka and all them are kind of like older a little bit, kind of like continuing the adventure. But I think they left because they had conflict of interest. Like I feel like them and Netflix didn't get along. Like they didn't mesh because Netflix was like, hey, we're going to take your great idea and we're going to fuck it up. I really do. I really think that's like, am I wrong? Am I wrong on this? Am I bashing it too hard? You let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know. Text me if you have my number. Tell me to shut up if you like this show, if you think it's great. I don't know. I don't like it. I think I had high hopes for it, and I really did, and I thought that it was going to be the most amazing thing. I was like, I think I'm just let down. I am. I think I'm let down, and I think that when I was talking about it with my friends, that we all were hyped. All hyped for it because of especially the bending part. We were really excited for the fights. And I don't know how season 2 or 3 are going to go. Because you can't really fuck up 2. Because 2 really, like, I even will make this point. One of the episodes in number 2 where we get to see Uncle Iroh like going through town of Ba Sing Se and collecting items and pretty much like having a picnic. Not really a picnic, but overall like, yeah, I would say like a little day remembering his son. And he like goes up on the mountain and he pays tribute because it's the anniversary of his son's death. And you get to see that. And that's in, I guess it's not really in it, but I don't know if they're going to really play that part. But you get to see Uncle Iroh at his son's funeral. So it's like, are they contributing that to that episode? Or or they just made it own creative thing? I don't know. But like, they're blending so many stories together and so much shit together that I'm like losing track. I'm like, did that happen there? Did that not happen there? It's almost like I have to watch the cartoon along with this show to kind of pick it apart. So, yeah. But yeah, overall, if you want to watch the show, go ahead. But I'm just going to be honest. Don't expect the show of the Netflix show to be like the cartoon. If you go in with that mindset, you might enjoy it. But then again, if you're a true Avatar The Last Airbender fan, like of the cartoon, you're probably not going to like it. You know, my cousin Tyler called me up out of the blue, or he texted me, and then we talked on the phone, and we just had a bitch fest back to each other. And he was like, they fucked this up. They told this wrong. They did this wrong. And me and him were just overall having a bitch fest about everything. And it's kind of hard for us to enjoy it. And I asked him, I was like, are you going to finish it? And he's like, I'm going to try. He's like, I kind of at this point. So, I mean, I'm halfway through. I've finished episode 4, so I'm halfway. So I'm just going to finish it just to overall see where it takes us. And it has content for me to put up on the channel. So, yeah. Yeah, so that's all I got for you today, guys. So remember that the podcast is floating every other week, so this episode's coming out. So it's out today. So next week there won't be an episode. It's the following week. I'm going to try to get a guest on that week, and then have a different discussion, so we don't have to talk about Avatar The Last Airbender show. But I can't promise that, because whoever comes on next might want to talk about it. But yeah, again, guys, that's all I have for you today. Overall, follow me on the social medias, Instagram, TikTok for as long as we have it, Twitter, @TheNerdyMind. Go to the YouTube channel, check out my other videos where I talk about the overall Avatar The Last Airbender. I kind of give you a little synopsis, but I kind of go a little more in depth with it on those episodes. Also, I'm putting out different things as well, kind of reviewing other stuff. I still got to make a video of me talking about different microphones. If you want to overall hear that, leave a comment below. If you're watching the video version, thank you. Hit the like button, subscribe. Subscribing helps. Comment helps. If you're listening to it on Spotify, thank you. Hit the like button for me on Spotify. It really helps me. Overall, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to say this really quickly, and I put a video out about it. Overall, let's just be kind to each other. Let's overall, boost each other up. I sometimes get negative comments, and I don't want to sound like I'm whining about it. It's honestly, it doesn't really affect me. If anything, it boosts me up. It makes me work harder. It makes me want to make more videos. It makes me overall want to do better. And if that's a plus, that's a great. But there's another thing is, like, I get a comment on a video and they say they don't have anything constructive to say. And then I go to their content and then they only have 4 or 5 videos and they're have less viewers, have less subscribers. And I'm not comparing, I'm not trying to compare, but like when you come on my content and you tell me that I'm doing something wrong or you overall don't like it, that's fine. Just hit the dislike button or don't leave a comment at all and just move on. But for you to take time out of your day to do that, overall helps me. 1, you gave me the view, and 2, you commenting tells the algorithm that, people are watching it. So I really just want to overall, if you have something to say and you don't like something, then tell me what I'm doing wrong, and I will absolutely hear you out and I will try to do better. But if you don't really have anything valuable to give, then just move on. I don't care. But again, I'm not trying to get upset about it. I know you're not supposed to watch and read negative comments, but sometimes it's just hard because I want to be engaging to the audience. I want to engage to you. I want to give you what you want. I want to be interactive with the community, and I don't want to be just like that content creator who says, hey, leave a comment or blah, 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 and they don't ever respond, because I really want to feel connected to you all. I want to have friends across the world. So yeah, absolutely comment. And if you want to leave a negative comment like, hey, I really don't like this episode of the podcast, but if you talk about, I don't know, Final Fantasy, you talk about Dragon Ball Z, you talk about more about Lord of the Rings, you talk about, I don't know, Game of Thrones or Street Fighter or whatever. I'm throwing out random things because I'm actually looking at my bookcase and seeing all the pops I have. But if you throw out something that I can grasp and then I can overall improve on, I really appreciate that. I really do. But again, I really appreciate y'all for watching, and I appreciate the people who actually do give me feedback, and I do appreciate people who do like the videos. And as always, stay nerdy, my friends.